Hey everybody, my name is Jarrett. So for today, we will be doing a virtual field trip where I will be your tour guide showing you about our solar system and some of the plants and facts that encompass it. Now, for this field trip, we will not be going through all of the plants as we simply do not have enough time to cover through all of them as we will be here for a very long time as there's a lot to know about all of our plants. So I'll just be really focusing more on the more popular ones and just more basic facts about it so you guys can really just get a basic understanding of what's going on. So this video, if you want, you can have some earphones to plug into your ears or just simply sit back and watch this audio and video as you please. So without further ado, here we go. So I'm going to share my screen of what we will be doing. Now, all this information is coming from NASA's website. So if you guys would check it out on your own or really just get to learn more or follow along, you can go to nasa.com and the solar systems section as you can really get to see what's going on. So this is our solar system, basics of it. As you can see, it's massive solar system. There's a lot of planets and stars, all that. It has, according to the facts, it has 8 planets, 200 plus moons, 989,192 asteroids, and 3,652 comets. Now, to me, that's very impressive. Now, this is a very fun, interactive little demo right here. You can come in and play with the solar system. You can see the outer solar system, as you can see, going all the way to the inner solar system. Really seeing some of the planets with the sun being the center. So you guys can really play with that as you want. Now, our planetary solar system is located in the outer spiral of the Milky Way galaxy. Our solar system consists of our star, the sun, and everything bound to it by the gravity. The planets include Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and dwarf planets such as Pluto, and dozens of moons and millions of asteroids, comets, and meteoroids. Beyond our solar system, we will have discovered thousands of planetary systems orbiting other systems in the Milky Way. Now here are some really basic fun facts that you need to know about our solar system in general. So, our solar system is made up of a star, 8 planets, and countless smaller bodies such as dwarf planets and asteroids and comets, so one of billions. Our solar system orbits in the center of the Milky Way galaxy at about 515,000 miles per hour, and we're in one of the galaxy's 4 spiral arms. It takes our solar system about 230 million years to complete one orbit around the galactic center. That's a long time. I'm pretty sure we will never really get to see that ourselves. This is a picture of our solar system, more like an aerial view. They're spiraling through space. There are 3 general kinds of galaxies: elliptical, spiral, and irregular. So the Milky Way, which is our galaxy, is a spiral galaxy. We have a pretty good atmosphere. Our solar system is a region of space. It has no atmosphere, but it contains many worlds, including Earth, with many kinds of atmospheres. So yeah, not every single planet has the same type of atmosphere. Our planet Earth, we're lucky to have a pretty good atmosphere that we can inhabit and live in. Now, it has many moons. The planets of our solar systems, even some asteroids, hold more than 150 moons in their orbit. Now, our Earth has only 1, so imagine seeing 150 moons at night. I couldn't imagine that. The stars would be, I'm sure the sky would be amazing to look at. Ring worlds. 4 giant planets and at least 1 asteroid have rings. None are as spectacular as Saturn's gorgeous rings. More than 300 robotic spacecrafts have entered destinations beyond Earth's orbit, including 24 astronauts who orbited the moon. Now, our solar system is the only one known to support life. So far as we only know life on Earth, but there could be life elsewhere. Now, there's robots that get sent out, like NASA's Voyager 1 is the only spacecraft so far to leave our solar system. Now, 4 other spacecrafts will eventually hit interstellar space. I guess that's in the future. And here's another picture. So now, onto our sun. So our sun is in the center of our solar system. It is a star. It is not a planet. It is massive. So its age is about 4.5 billion years old. and it's pretty far away. It is known as a yellow dwarf. So the heart of our solar system is a yellow dwarf hot ball of glowing gases. Its gravity holds the solar system together, keeping everything from the biggest planets to the smallest particles of debris in its orbit. The electric currents in the sun generate a magnetic field that's carried out through our solar system by the solar wind. A stream of electrically charged gas blowing outward from the sun in all directions. The connections and interactions between the sun and earth drive the seasons, oceans, currents, weather, climate, radiation belts, and auroras. Though it is special to us, there are billions of stars like our sun scattered across the Milky Way galaxy. So here's a picture of our sun through space. That's quite magnificent, in my opinion. So here's some more facts. So if the sun were as tall as a typical front door, Earth would be the size of a nickel. So imagine your front door and put a nickel by it. That would be Earth, and your door would be representing the sun. That's a good ratio of size of Earth to the sun that you want to see. The sun is in the center of our solar system and makes up 99.8% of the mass of the entire solar system. That's a lot. So it really just shows you how really small we are. At the equator, the sun spins about every 25 days, but at its poles, the sun rotates on its axis after every 35 Earth days. As a star, the sun is a ball of gas, which is about 92.1% hydrogen and 7.8% helium, held together by its own gravity. The sun does not have any, so it is still under study. Many spacecrafts constantly observe the sun, helping us keep an eye on space and the weather, and that can affect satellites and astronauts. And one of the most vital things about the sun's energy for life. So without the sun's intense energy, there would be no life on Earth. We'd basically freeze and everything would really collapse on around us. Nuclear fusion. The sun's core is about 27 million degrees Fahrenheit or 15 million degrees Celsius. Now that's really hot. So as you can tell, if you guys live in Miami here, even though we're so far, we can still really feel a lot of that heat, and it's pretty hot. So imagine really getting even close to that. We get quite the tan going on there. Okay, so but orbited by 8 planets, at least 5 dwarf planets, tens of thousands of asteroids, and up to 3 trillion comets and icy bodies. The sun's visible surface sometimes has stark sunspots, which are areas of intense magnetic gravity and can lead to solar explosions. So I guess these are some of the sunspots you can see. All right, now going past the sun, we're going to our planet, Earth. Now this is our home planet. It's a terrestrial type. You guys might know a lot about these facts, but some might not know, so let's get to see. So 1 year is equal to 365 days. Our home planet is the 3rd planet from the sun, and the only planet so far that we know that have living things. While Earth is the only 5th largest planet in our solar system, it is the only world in our solar system with liquid water on the surface. Just slightly larger than Venus, Earth is the biggest of the 4 planets closest to the sun, all of which are made of rock and metal. The name Earth is at least 1,000 years old. All of the planets except for Earth were named after the Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. However, the Earth is a Germanic word which simply means the ground. So here's some images. These are from outer space. I think this is like, oh, this is from Mars. So that's what, if you're on Mars, that's what Earth looks like. Oh, like just a little speck in the sky. Another picture from space. I guess that's the moon right there. Another picture. So, all right. Sorry, just getting a little sip of water. Okay, so here's some facts. So if the sun was as tall as a typical front door, so we know this one. So Earth orbits our sun, a star. Earth is the 3rd planet from the sun at a distance of about 93 million miles. That's a lot of miles. So a day on Earth is about 24 hours. Earth makes up a complete orbit around the sun. A year in Earth time is about 365 days. Earth is a rocky planet with a solid and dynamic surface of mountains, canyons, plains, and more. Most of our planet is covered in water. So on Earth, we can breathe easy. Earth's atmosphere is about 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen and 1% other ingredients. The perfect balance to really breathe and live for all life. Earth has one moon, no rings. Many orbiting spacecraft study the Earth from above as a whole system, observing the atmosphere, ocean, glaciers, and the solid Earth. Home sweet home. Earth is a perfect place for life as we know it currently, but maybe in the future there could be other planets. Now, our atmosphere protects us from incoming meteoroids, most of which break up in our atmosphere before they can strike the surface. So our atmosphere really protects anything that comes into Earth, as it really slows it down. Here's another picture. Now on to the next planet. So this is Mars. It is known as the red planet. Now the length of 1 year is 687 Earth days. That's quite longer than 365 days we have here on Earth. Now, it is the fourth planet from the sun. Mars is a dusty, cold desert world with very thin atmosphere. This dynamic planet has seasons, polar ice caps, and weather and canyons, extinct volcanoes, evidence in which it was once an even more active past. So that's pretty interesting to me. Mars is one of the most explored bodies in our solar system, and it's the only planet where we've sent rovers to roam the alien landscape. NASA currently has 3 spacecraft in orbit, 1 rover and 1 lander on the surface. India and ESA also have spacecraft in orbit above Mars. These robotic explorers have found lots of evidence that Mars has much wetter and warmer than a thicker atmosphere billions of years ago. NASA plans to send the next generation Perseverance rover to Mars this summer. So this is the countdown. It's actually getting sent in 1 day and 18 hours from now. So on July 22nd, so that's not very far, only a couple days away. So here are some pictures of Mars. That's what it looks like on the surface. More surface pictures. So it really looks like a desert, really atmosphere, really dry. Here's the rover. All right. So here are some facts about Mars that we should know. If the sun was as small as a typical front door, Earth would be the size of a dime, and Mars would be as big as an aspirin tablet. Wow, so that's really another perspective. Mars orbits our sun, a star. Mars is the 4th planet from the sun and an average distance of about 228 million kilometers, or 142 million miles, that's in our units, or 1.52 AU. 1 day in Mars takes a little over 24 hours, and Mars makes a complete orbit around the sun, a year in Martian time, in 687 Earth days. Mars is a pretty rugged terrain. It is a rocky planet. Its solid surface has been altered by volcanoes, impacts, winds, crustal movement, and chemical reactions. So if you go to Mars, you need to bring a spacesuit. It has a thin atmosphere, mostly made of carbon dioxide, argon, nitrogen, and a small amount of oxygen and water vapor. Now, this is different than our atmosphere, as most of our atmosphere is mostly oxygen. So there's only a small amount of oxygen in there, so we would need the spacesuit to survive. Now, Mars has 2 planets, both named Phobos and Deimos. It has no rings, and there are several missions have been visited this planet, from flybys and orbitals to rovers on the surface. The first true Mars mission success was the Mariner 4 flyby in 1965. So right now it's a tough place for life. At this time, Mars' surface cannot simply support life as we know it. Current missions are determining Mars' past and future potential for life. Rusty planet. Mars is known for the red planet because iron minerals in the Martian soil oxidize or rust, causing the soil and atmosphere to look red. It's pretty interesting. So here, I'll just really go through the planet to see if you guys want to see what it looks like. Full view. Now remember, you guys can really just manipulate this on the website if you want, and really just play with it, look at it as you please. All right, time for the next planet, Jupiter. So this is Jupiter. Now Jupiter is twice as massive as all the other planets combined. This is probably the biggest planet. It is a gas giant. So Jupiter has a long history surprising scientists, all the way back to 1610 when Galileo Galilei found the first moon to be on Earth. That discovery changed the way we see the universe. So all the way back to 1610, that's pretty fascinating. 5th in line from the sun, Jupiter is by far the largest planet in the solar system, more than twice as massive as all the other planets combined. Jupiter's familiar stripes and swirls are actually cold, windy clouds of ammonia and water floating in the atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. Jupiter's iconic red spot is a giant storm bigger than Earth that has raged for hundreds of years. So one spacecraft, NASA's Juno orbiter, is currently exploring this giant world. Here's some pictures. That's what it looks like. Wow, that looks menacing. Here's some more pictures. All right. Here's some facts. So it is indeed the grandest planet. 11 Earths could fit across Jupiter's equator. Wow, that's pretty intense. If Earth were the size of a grape, Jupiter would be the size of a basketball. So that's a really good comparison you guys are going to see. So it is the fifth planet from our star. Jupiter orbits about 484 million miles, or 5.2 astronomical units from the sun. Jupiter rotates once every 10 hours, which is a Jovian day, but it takes about 12 Earth years to complete one orbit around the sun, a Jovian year. So what's inside? Jupiter is a gas giant and so lacks on Earth-like surface. It has a solid inner core at all. It has a solid inner core at all, and it's likely only the size of Earth. So Jupiter's atmosphere is basically mostly made up of the elements hydrogen, which is H2, and helium. So worlds galore. Jupiter has more than 75 moons. So wow, imagine looking up in the sky and seeing 75 moons at night. That would be quite fascinating. In 1979, the Voyager mission discovered Jupiter's faint ring system. All 4 giant planets in our solar system have ring systems. Now, exploring Jupiter. 9 spacecrafts have visited Jupiter. 7 flew by, and 2 have orbited the gas giant Juno. The most recent arrived at Jupiter in 2016. So ingredients for life? You'll know. Jupiter cannot support life as we know it, but some of Jupiter's moons and oceans beneath their crust might support life. That's pretty interesting. Jupiter's great spot is a gigantic storm that's about twice the size of Earth and has raged over a century. So that's the red spot. So let me see if I can find it for you guys. But yeah, see? That red spot right there is twice the size of Earth. I find that fascinating. All right, here's some of the auroras. So I got set for 2 poles. All right, so last but not least, we have Saturn. Now to me, Saturn is one of the most interesting planets out there. It is known as the jewel of our solar system. It's a gas giant. The length of 1 year takes about 10,759 Earth days. Saturn is a 6th planet from the sun and the 2nd largest planet in our solar system, behind Jupiter. Adorned with thousands of beautiful ringlets, Saturn is unique among the planets. It is not the only planet to have rings made of chunks of ice and rock, but none are spectacular as complicated as Saturn's. Like a fellow gas giant Jupiter, Saturn is a massive ball mostly made of hydrogen and helium. So here's some pictures of space. That's really beautiful. Really fascinating. And lastly, here's some facts. It is a colossal planet. So for perspective, 9 Earths side by side would almost span Saturn's diameter. That does not include Saturn's rings, mind you. Saturn is the 6th planet from the sun, a star, and orbits a distance of about 886 million times, 1.4 billion kilometers around the sun. Short day and a long year. Saturn takes about 10.7 hours. No one knows precisely to rotate about its axis. A Saturn day and 29 Earth days to orbit it takes, and 29 Earth years, to orbit the sun. Sorry, getting a little sip of water for my voice. Saturn is a gas giant planet and therefore does not have a solid surface like the Earth's, but it might have a solid core somewhere in there. Saturn's atmosphere is made up of mostly hydrogen and helium. Saturn is basically a mini solar system. It has 53 moons with an additional 29 moons awaiting confirmation of their discovery. That has a total of 82 moons in total. That's fascinating. It basically has its own little solar system. That's pretty cool. The glorious rings. Saturn has the most spectacular ring system with 7 rings and several gaps and divisions between them. It is a rare destination. Few missions have visited Saturn already. Pioneer 11 and Voyagers 1 and 2 flew by, but Cassini orbited Saturn about 294 times from 2004 to 2017. Now, right now, it's a lifeless behemoth. Saturn cannot support life as we know it, but some of Saturn's moons have conditions that might support life, so maybe we can find out in the future. Add a dash of Earth, about 2 tons of Saturn's mass came from Earth. The Cassini spacecraft was potentially vaporized in Saturn's atmosphere in 2017. Now, that's quite fascinating. Now, that really ends our tour today. I hope you guys really enjoyed it and really learned a lot. I know we couldn't really go into all the planets as we're running a little out of time. But if you guys want, remember you can go on NASA's website and really get to see all the other planets such as Uranus, Venus, Mercury, and Neptune, and even Pluto, which is not really considered a planet anymore. And just really get to see, play with the planets, really get to see what they look like and see their environments and stuff. Or even just do other research. Google's a great resource and really just get to see about all the other information. Anyways, I had a good time with you today. I hope you learned a lot. I certainly learned a lot. So I hope to see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.